What happens when two hip-hop titans take their battle from the streets to the courtroom? You think it's just about money or reputation? Think again. This isn't just a trial, it's a war that will change everything you thought you knew about 50 Cent and Diddy. In the buzzing heart of Manhattan, inside a sleek but intimidating courthouse, the atmosphere was electric. The media circus outside reflected the tension inside as two of the biggest names in hip-hop, 50 Cent and Diddy, prepared for a legal showdown that the world was watching. What started as a seemingly straightforward dispute over intellectual property rights and alleged contract breaches had spiraled into a high-stakes battle that threatened to unravel years of carefully built legacies. 50 Cent sat calm and collected, his steely eyes scanning the courtroom, knowing that every word, every gesture, every move would be dissected by millions. Across from him, Diddy exuded his usual charisma and confidence, though behind the facade lurked an unmistakable edge of anxiety. The courtroom was packed, lawyers, fans, media, and curious onlookers all desperate for a glimpse of what would unfold. The judge called the court to order, and the battle of words began, fiery, precise, and razor-sharp. Legal jargon mixed with veiled insults, with each side trying to dismantle the other's credibility. The initial rounds went smoothly for 50 Cent's legal team. They methodically presented documents, emails, and witness testimonies that seemed to confirm Diddy's alleged breach of contract. The evidence painted a picture of deception and underhanded tactics. 50 Cent's attorney nailed each argument with surgical precision, leaving Diddy's defense scrambling to keep up. The courtroom buzzed with murmurs. It looked like 50 Cent was sealing the deal. But beneath this apparent calm, something was stirring. Something that would change the entire game. Unbeknownst to everyone, a shadowy figure had been watching from the sidelines, waiting for the right moment to step forward. The stage was set for a dramatic twist, and no one in that Manhattan courtroom was prepared for the shock that would come next. Just when the courtroom thought it had the story figured out, the unexpected happens. A single voice from the shadows threatens to shatter everything, and the fallout will rock the music world to its core. The courtroom had barely settled when a hush swept over the room. The judge, having witnessed the initial rounds dominated by 50 Cent's legal team, was taken aback as the defense attorney called a surprise witness to the stand. A figure few had seen before, a tall, sharp-eyed woman named Jasmine Monroe, walked confidently to the witness box. The murmurs in the courtroom quickly escalated into whispers of curiosity and skepticism. Jasmine was no ordinary witness. Sources revealed she was once an insider in the inner circles of both 50 Cent and Diddy, privy to private meetings and confidential dealings few outsiders could even dream of. Her arrival sent shockwaves through both camps. The press frenzy outside exploded with speculation. Would she confirm the narrative 50 Cent's team had built? Or would she throw a wrench into the works? As Jasmine took the oath and began to speak, the courtroom leaned in, sensing the weight of what was coming. Her voice, calm yet commanding, dropped a bombshell. She revealed evidence that neither side had anticipated, secret communications and covert agreements that suggested both 50 Cent and Diddy were involved in a deeper, more complicated business arrangement than anyone knew. She claimed the dispute in court was just a front, masking a high-stakes power play involving other industry players and shadowy financial backers. The courtroom erupted. 50 Cent's team looked stunned. Diddy's defense seized the moment, sensing an opening. But Jasmine wasn't finished. She hinted at a clandestine deal brokered in a late-night Manhattan loft months before the lawsuit even began, a deal that could explain motives, betrayals, and unexpected alliances. Suddenly, the courtroom wasn't just a place for legal arguments, it had become the battleground for secrets that could rewrite the history of both legends. The judge struggled to maintain order as the tension rose to a fever pitch. But outside the courthouse, the war was just beginning. Leaked snippets of Jasmine's testimony had already ignited social media, fan forums, and music industry backrooms. Allegiances shifted overnight. What the courtroom couldn't control was how far the ripple effect would spread, and who else might be drawn into this fierce showdown. What if everything you believed about 50 Cent and Diddy was just the surface? Behind closed doors, deals were made that would change the game forever. And the truth is darker than anyone imagined. The courtroom buzz faded into a tense silence as Jasmine Monroe's testimony peeled back the curtain on the mysterious Manhattan loft meeting. She described a dimly lit room in a high-rise overlooking Central Park, where, months before the lawsuit erupted, 50 Cent and Diddy met in secret with other influential figures. The meeting was not just about music, it was a chess game of power, control, and money, involving covert alliances and backroom negotiations. According to Jasmine, what happened that night was nothing short of a betrayal disguised as a partnership. The two moguls appeared to be working together on a project that could dominate the hip-hop industry for years, but hidden beneath the surface was a plan for one to outmaneuver the other. Jasmine's revelation shattered the simplistic narrative of villain and victim, exposing a complex web of manipulation. The courtroom audience and viewers worldwide were captivated as she detailed whispered threats, signed but secret contracts, and veiled promises. It became clear the lawsuit was a smokescreen, a public distraction from a far bigger power struggle. Both 50 Cent and Diddy were players in a high-stakes game that extended beyond music, spilling into real estate, media, and underground deals. But just when it seemed Jasmine's story had reached its peak, she dropped a bombshell that sent chills through the courtroom. One of the key figures present at that loft meeting was nowhere to be found now, vanished without a trace. Was this disappearance related to the lawsuit? Was someone trying to erase their involvement? The questions hung heavy in the air, igniting speculation and fear. Outside the courthouse, the story exploded. Social media exploded with conspiracy theories and leaked audio clips. Fans took sides, but many were left wondering what the truth really was. The line between friend and foe blurred, and everyone was asking the same question: who could be trusted when even the biggest names played dirty? When the stakes are this high, the courtroom isn't just a place for truth, it's a war zone where power, deception, and survival collide. And in this battle, nothing is as it seems. The courtroom that once felt like a stage for legal arguments had transformed into a charged battlefield. Every word uttered, every glance exchanged, carried the weight of decades of rivalry and ambition. The judge struggled to maintain order as lawyers on both sides launched verbal volleys sharper than knives, determined to protect their clients' reputations while exposing the other's vulnerabilities. 50 Cent, usually calm and strategic, now showed flashes of fiery determination. He delivered his cross-examinations with surgical precision, probing Jasmine's claims, trying to unravel her credibility while reinforcing his narrative of betrayal by Diddy. Diddy, on the other hand, leaned into charisma and emotional appeals, painting himself as the wronged visionary, fighting against underhanded tactics and betrayal. But the real battle wasn't just in the courtroom. Outside, the war escalated in the shadows. Behind closed doors, deals were being renegotiated, alliances shifted, and threats whispered in hushed tones in the corridors of power. The media frenzy only fueled the fire, with leaks and counter-leaks flooding social channels, turning public opinion into a volatile weapon. Then came the moment that shattered the fragile balance. A new piece of evidence surfaced, an anonymous video showing a heated confrontation between 50 Cent and one of the missing figures from the Manhattan loft meeting. The video was raw, unfiltered, and hinted at secrets darker than anything revealed in court. It suggested blackmail, betrayal, and a web of lies spun to control not just the music industry, but entire empires. This revelation threw the courtroom and the public into chaos. Supporters of both sides felt betrayed, uncertain whom to believe. The judge called for a recess, the tension palpable as whispers of conspiracy filled the room. Was this the final nail in the coffin? Or just another twist in a game far more dangerous than anyone imagined? The final verdict is in, but what happens after the gavel falls will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about loyalty, power, and the true cost of fame. The courtroom was silent as the judge prepared to deliver the verdict. The air was thick with anticipation, fans, media, and the two hip-hop giants themselves holding their breath. After days of intense testimony, secret revelations, and fierce battles both inside and outside the courtroom, the moment of truth had finally arrived. But the judge's decision was not what anyone expected. Instead of declaring a clear winner, the ruling exposed the layers of deceit that had entangled both 50 Cent and Diddy in a mutual web of betrayal. Both were held accountable for their roles in the covert deals and manipulation that had fueled their rivalry. The courtroom erupted in shocked murmurs. No one had foreseen that this battle wasn't about triumph, it was about survival. Yet, the true shock came after the verdict. Jasmine Monroe stepped forward one last time, revealing she had a final piece of evidence, a confidential recording that implicated a powerful third party, someone who had orchestrated the feud from behind the scenes to control the hip-hop empire for their own gain. Suddenly, the fight between 50 Cent and Diddy was revealed as a pawn game in a much bigger war. The aftermath rippled across the industry. Alliances shifted as both legends reluctantly agreed to a truce, realizing that the real enemy was the puppeteer who had played them against each other. New partnerships formed, empires realigned, and the music world braced for a new era, one where power was no longer just about beats and rhymes, but strategy, survival, and secrets. As the courtroom emptied, the story was far from over. The war had moved from the public eye to the shadows, and everyone knew the next chapter would be even more explosive. For 50 Cent, Diddy, and the millions watching, this was just the beginning. What do you think about this legendary battle and the shocking twists that followed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who really won? And what secret do you think will come next? If you loved this story, smash that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more epic stories that keep you on the edge of your seat. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, in the game of power, nothing is ever what it seems.